In this video, we will cover keyboard shortcuts, Lecture 2, Saving Time. These shortcuts can save you time each and every day. I use these shortcuts almost every day when I'm working in Excel. If you want to open the Format Cells dialog box quickly, just hit Ctrl+1. If you want to hide a row or a column quickly, simply hit Ctrl+9 to hide the selected row, or Ctrl+0 to hide the selected column. If you want to select everything in the worksheet at once, click Ctrl+A. A useful shortcut that I use quite often is to add a simple border to a cell or a selection of cells. Just click Ctrl+Shift+7. So Ctrl and then hold Shift while pressing Ctrl and then 7. And this will add a border around your cell or selection of cells. If you want to find something in the worksheet really quickly, just click Ctrl+F. If you plan on finding something and then replacing it with something else, click Ctrl+H. This will open the Find and Replace dialog box. Finally, if you want to quickly edit a formula, click F2. This will place your cursor at the end of the formula contained in the selected cell. Here you can then edit the formula by using the left or right key to move the cursor to the spot in the formula that you want to edit. Now we will cover an Excel example to illustrate these handy keyboard shortcuts. So we again have the following spreadsheet that contains various sales data for different products. Here we're going to illustrate the keyboard shortcuts that we just went over. To start, suppose we have a date value here and we want to format it to a different date. One way to do that would be to right-click and then hit Format Cells, and this will open up the Format Cells dialog box. A shortcut to open that Format Cells dialog box quicker would be to hit Control and then 1. And again, it opens the Format Cells dialog box quickly. Further, suppose that we want to hide some columns. One way to do that would be to highlight the columns we want to hide, right-click, and then hit Hide. A shortcut, or a keyboard shortcut that we could do, is we could highlight the cells, and then to hide the columns, we just hit Ctrl+0, and that hides the columns. If we want to undo that, again, we'll just hit Ctrl+Z to undo. Now, suppose we want to hide some rows. One way to do that would be to select our rows, then right-click and hit Hide. Or we can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+9. So we hit Ctrl+9, and it hides those selected rows. Next, suppose we want to select all of the data in this table. An easy way to do that would be to use Ctrl+A. So if we hit Ctrl+A, it now selects the entire table for us, instead of having to drag across and drag down, or to use some sort of combination of Shift and arrows. Ctrl+A is a lot quicker. Now, suppose we want to add borders to these titles here. One way to do that would be to use the border feature in Format Cells. So we can go Format Cells, Border, and we can add different borders to it. Another way that we can do it is we can use the drop-down menu right here, and we can add an outside border, for example. An easy way that I often add a simple border to the cells that I've selected is to hit Control, and then while holding Control, hit Shift, and then 7. And this adds a border to the cells. So for example, we can see it better here. Control-Shift-7, we've added a border to this cell. Control-Shift-7 adds a border. It's a nice, easy way to add a border to a selection of text. The next thing we'll cover is what if we want to find all the cells that contain computer desk here? Well, what we can do is we can use the Control-F function to bring up the Find and Replace menu. And here we want to search the spreadsheet for computer. So Control-F opens this quickly for us. Now suppose that we instead want to open, or we want to find the computer desk and replace it with computer chair. Well, we can use the Control-H feature to open up the Find and Replace here. And we type what we want to replace. So we want to find desk and we want to replace it with chair. And then we can hit Replace All, and that will replace all of the chairs. So again, Control-H opens the Find and Replace menu, and Control-F opens the Find menu. Finally, what if we want to quickly edit a formula? So we have a formula here, and instead of moving our mouse all the way up top here and then clicking in here to edit the formula, there's a shortcut. We can hit F2, which brings us right into the formula editor, and we then can use the left-right arrows to move our cursor to where we want to edit the formula. So say we want to edit this to not be A6, but let's go with B6. Control Z can undo that as well. So we've highlighted all of the keyboard shortcuts here, and I hope you've learned something great.